Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining part 2 of the deadlock characterization. In the previous video, I explained the part 1 of the deadlock characterization where I explained the necessary conditions that are required for deadlock to happen. Right? To know more about that part 1 of the deadlock characterization, you can refer my video. The link is provided in the description. So in this video, I am explaining deadlock characterization using resource allocation graph. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. To get the notification of my new videos, please click the bell icon. So let me begin the deadlock characterization using resource allocation graph. So what is deadlock characterization? To know more about what is deadlock, you can refer that video, right? That is in the description, right? So here, deadlock characterization means we are describing a deadlock using a resource allocation graph. That means by writing the resource allocation graph, I can find out whether there is a deadlock is present in the system or not. I can use the resource allocation graph to find out the deadlock that is present in a system or not. Right, guys? So what is a resource allocation graph? So resource allocation graph is, as the name suggests, it is a directed graph, right? And it is represented as g of v comma e. You can see, and it is represented as g of v comma e. Here v is a set of vertices. So you know that if I say a graph contains a set of vertices, and that vertices is nothing but v, and it contains edges. Graph contains edges and is denoted as e, right? So graph is a set of vertices and edges. Vertices are denoted by v, edges are denoted by e, right? Next, in the resource allocation graph, the vertices can be of two types. So you can see here. So here, this is the example of a resource allocation graph here. So first I will explain those things, then I will take up the example. See here. So in a resource allocation graph, you know that we have vertices and edges. In that, vertices are of two types. So what are those? So vertices can be a process, and in the same way, vertices can be of resource type. So if I say a vertices, that vertices can be a process also, then or it can be a resource type also. Now, so in the resource allocation graph, every process is represented by a circle, right? And every resource type is represented by a square. Getting, guys? So far you know that. So every resource allocation graph contains vertices and edges, and in that, vertices are of two types. Process are a resource type. Process is represented by a circle. Resource type is represented by a square. Now, what are the dots inside the square? Here, for example, consider a resource type as a printer. Here, dot represents instances of a printer. That means here my resource is printer. This 5 dots represents instances of a printer. That means 5 printers are there. Instances means numbers. Here 5 dots means 5 printers are there of a particular resource type printer. Getting, guys? Now, edges. So here in the same way as vertices, edges are also two types here in the resource allocation graph. So first one is a requested and the second one is a assignment edge. Now, request edge, why we use? So requested is used by a process to request the resource. You can see here pi, you can see the arrow mark here, that is very important here. So pi tends to rj, that means here pi, right? Pi is requesting the resource rj. See the arrow mark direction, right? See, so pi is requesting the resource rj. So Request head is used to request the resource by the process. Now, suppose here process Pi is requesting the resource Rj. Suppose if Rj is free, operating system allocates Rj. Now you can see Rj is allocated to process Pi. See the arrow mark, right? So when a resource is allocated to process, that is the assignment edge, when a resource is requested by a process, right, that is a request edge. Getting, guys? So Pi is requesting the resource Rj here in the request edge, but in the assignment edge you can see here that particular resource is assigned to that process Pi, that is Rj is assigned to Pi. Getting, guys? So in vertices there are two types, process and the resource type. In the edge there are two types, request edge and the assignment edge. So example, I will take the example now. You can see the example of a resource allocation graph here, as the name suggests, right? See here. So here this is the resource allocation graph. Here you can see here three processes are there, right? P1, P2, P3. So I will explain this resource allocation graph in detail. You can see here we have three processes, P1, P2, P3, and we have four resource types in a system. So what are those? R1, R2, R3 and R4 are the resources. Getting, guys? So how many processes we have? Three processes, P1, P2, P3. And how many resource types we have? Four resource types, R1, R2, R3, R4. Right? Now, so you can see here, I told you instance, about instance. What is instance? You know that. Here you can see here resource type R1 is having a one instance. Resource type R2 is having a here two instance. R3 is having a one instance, and three instances of R4. Three instances of R4. That resource can be any type. For example, it can be a RAM or it can be a printer, whatever it may be, right? So whatever the resource you can you consider that resource will be there. So but instances, so see R1 one instance, R3 one instance, R2 two instances, right, and R4 three instances. Now you can see this. So process P1 is holding a instance of resource type R2. See process P1, see the arrow mark, see the arrow mark properly. So see here process P1 is holding an instance of resource type R2 and is waiting for a instance resource type R1. So here process P1 is requesting the resource type R1. If it is free, then it will allocate, but it is already holding the resource R2. Which one? Process P1. Now in the same way process P2 is holding an instance of R1. It's already holding an process P2 is already holding an instance of R1. It's already using a R1 P2, but P2, right, is waiting for a instance, right, R3. So it is waiting for the P2 is waiting for the instance R3, but along with that P2 is also holding an instance of R2 also. Getting, guys? So process P2 is holding an instance of R1. See, in the same way process P2 is holding an instance of R2. It's using both R1 and R2, but P2 is waiting for an instance from R3. It is waiting for the instance R3. Now process P3, you can see here process P3 is holding the instance of R3. Process P3 is holding the instance of R3, but it is not requesting any process. It is not waiting, it is not requesting any resource. It is not waiting for any resource, but it is holding, it is already using R3, P3. P3 process is using R3 resource. Now see here, one important thing you need to know here. In a resource allocation graph, right, if there is no cycles in a resource allocation graph, if there is no cycle, then no process in the system is deadlocked. That means if there is no cycle, you can tell that there is no deadlock. But if there is a cycle in a graph, if there is a cycle in a resource allocation graph, then two chances are possible. That means deadlock may exist or deadlock may not exist also. I will explain that thing. Very simple. So I understood here. So now you know what is a resource allocation graph, right? In a resource allocation graph, if there is a cycle, then two chances are possible. If there is a cycle, deadlock may present, or deadlock may not present. Even if it is a cycle is there also, deadlock may not present. But if there is no cycles, obviously no deadlock in the system. You can see here, this is the example of a graph without a cycle. So without a cycle means there is no deadlock here. So I will prove that here. See here, for example, so you can see here, P3 can complete its execution because P3 is already using R3, right? It is already P3 is using only one resource R3, and it is already there with P3, and obviously P3 can complete its execution using R3, no problem. After P3 completes the execution, P3 can release R3, and that R3 resource can be used by P2, because you can see there P2 is requesting for R3. Once the P3 is completed, it can release R3, and R3 can be used by P2, and R2, you can see here, R2 is already there with P2. So once the P3 is completed, R3 will be allocated to P2, and P2 can also complete its execution without any problem. Now, once the P2 is completed its execution, it will release the R3 also, it will release R2 also. Right? It will release R3 also, it will release R2 also, it will release R1 also. See, getting guys? So P2 is already using R1, it's already using R2. It was waiting for only R3. After P3, it will be allocated to P2. So P2 can execute without any problems. Now P1, you can see here, P1 is already holding R2, but it is waiting for R1. Once the P2 is completed, definitely it will release R1. Then P1 can also complete its execution without any problem, right? So you can observe here, all P1, P2, P3 processes can complete their tasks without any problem. That means there is no deadlock here. Why there is no deadlock here means, obviously this graph doesn't have any cycles. You can see here, we don't have any cycle. See, arrow marks. See, there is no cycle here. Obviously, if there is no cycle, no deadlock will be there. So you know that here if P1, P2, P3 can execute without any problem. So this is the case. First case here, graph without a cycle doesn't have any deadlocks. Now I will take the second case, right? So in the first case, we have seen that if there is no cycle in the resource allocation graph, deadlock is not there, right? So in the second case, we are going to see the resource allocation graph with a cycle and a deadlock. You know that if a graph contains a cycle, then deadlock may present or deadlock may not present. So this is the case of a resource allocation graph with cycle and a deadlock. Both are there here. Both the cycle and deadlock is present here in this graph. So we will see this here. You can see here, this graph contains a cycle here. See the highlighter from P2 to R3, R3 to P3, P3 to R4, next R2 to P2, right? So you can see there, this is a loop and there is a cycle here, right? So P2 to R3, R3 to P3, P3 to R4, P3 to P3 to R2, and R2 to P2, right? So in this graph, cycle is there. Now we will check whether this graph contains a deadlock or not. See here. So I will start with the P3 process. So P3 is holding an instance of R3 and it is requesting for instance of R2, right? So P3 is holding an instance of R3 and it is requesting an instance of R4, R2, R2, see R2. Now, but R2 is already, right, P2 is already using R2 and P1 is also already using R2. So that's why I can't allocate R2 to P3. So P3 can't continue its execution or can't complete its execution. Getting, guys? So P3 can't complete because P3 need R2, but R2 is already in use by P1 and P2. So P3 can't complete. Now we will check for P2. So you can see here P2 is holding the instance of R1 and P2 is holding the instance of R2, but P2 is requesting for the instance of R3, but we can't allocate R3 for P2 because P3 is already using R3. So that's why now P2 and P3 both of them can't complete the execution. We will check for P1. See, P1 is holding the instance of R2, but it is requesting for the instance of R1. But you can see here R1 instance is used by P2, right? So I can't allocate R1 to the P1 now. So P1 can also can't complete its execution. So here all the three processes P1, P2, P3 can't complete their execution because the resources needed by them is held by the another process that is using the resource, right? So here we can see this is a graph with cycle and a deadlock, right, guys? Now I will take up the next case, resource allocation graph with a cycle but no deadlock. So in the previous two cases we have seen that if there is no cycle there is no deadlock. If a cycle is there, deadlock may present or deadlock may not present. So we have seen that if the second case here, so here there is a deadlock with a cycle, but in this case cycle is there but it doesn't have any deadlock. We will check out that now. So see here, this graph is having a cycle here. See the path. So P1 to R1, R1 to P3, P3 to R2, R2 to P1. So this graph is having a cycle, right, guys? Now we have to check whether this graph will suffer from a deadlock or not. See, we will see that. So P2, so you can see here P2 is having the resource R1. So P2 can complete this execution without any problem because P2 is already having the resource that is needed by him. Now in the same way P4 you can see here P4 can also complete its execution without any problem because P4 is already having a resource R2 for completion of its execution. You can see here P2 can complete without any problem because it's already having R1. P4 can also complete its execution without any problem because it's already having R2. Getting, guys? Now once the P2 and P4 completes its execution, see here, now we will check for P3. P3 is already having a R1, but P3 is requesting for R2. It is requesting for R2. You can see here after the completion of P4 and P2, definitely you can allocate the resource R2 to P3. So P3 can also complete its execution without any problem. So P2 can complete without any problem, P4 can complete without any problem. After the completion of P2 and P4, they will release R1 and R2, right? So if P3 is requesting for R2, I can allocate R2 for P3 also. So P3 can complete its execution without any problem. Now we will check for P1. So after the completion of P3, P3 can release R1 also, P3 can release R2 also, right? So see, P1 is already having R2, but P1 is requesting for R1. But P3 can release it with after the completion, right? So after the completion of P3, it will release R1. So P1 can take it, and P1 can complete its execution by taking R1 resource. So you can see here, P2 can also complete without any problem, P4 can also complete without any problem, P3 can also complete without any problem. Once you release P2 and P4, P3 can complete. In the same way, after the resource held by P3 is also released, then P1 can also complete without any problem. So P2, P4, P3, P1 can complete without any problem. All the resources can complete without any problem. P1, P2, P3, P4. So there is a cycle, but here there is no deadlock. There is no deadlock. So getting, guys? So here I will brief this. So here in this example, we have seen that the graph without a cycle. This is a graph without a cycle. Obviously there is no deadlock here, no problems. But here this is a graph with cycle. Along with the cycle, there is a deadlock also here. But in the last case, we have seen that graph with a cycle, but we have a deadlock. So there are three main cases here. A graph that contains no cycle, no deadlock will be there. But if a graph contains a cycle, two chances are there. Deadlock may present. This is the case. Or deadlock may not present also. This is the case. Getting, guys? So these are the three cases. That's it, guys. If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.